Jamaica, being sold to the highest bidder via luxury apartments. Jamaicans rejoicing their own demise. In this video, we'll seek to explore the different roles that expensive flats play in Jamaica's economy, versus the role that mega-large hotels play in the Jamaican economy, to see which serves Jamaica better. We'll be exploring which one takes money away from Jamaicans versus which one brings money to Jamaicans. The Jamaican government is promoting the wrong thing when it comes to expensive flats versus mega-large hotels being built in Jamaica. There are lots of talks in Jamaica these days about prosperity, but the prosperity is for those at the very top of the food chain. The prosperity taking place in Jamaica over the past few years is above 90% of Jamaica's population reach, and the prosperity taking place will remain a pipe dream for 90% of the Jamaican population for the rest of their lives. Jamaicans are slowly losing Jamaica, and many Jamaicans are ignorantly rejoicing over it and calling it prosperity. As I will seek to demonstrate from the 5 comparable points between mega-large hotels and expensive apartments below. My first point for comparison is, who are building these luxury apartments in Jamaica versus who are building these mega-large hotels? It would appear to me that most luxury apartments are built by foreigners, especially the apartments that cost above $300,000 US. Hence, the profits from these apartments will not stay in Jamaica. Expensive apartments are a quick way for foreigners to extract money out of Jamaica. Once their apartments are complete and sold off, the foreigners take their money out of Jamaica. When it comes to mega-large hotels in Jamaica, these are also built by foreigners. However, it could take up to 20 years for the foreigners to get their money back. The foreigners who built the mega-large hotels are making long-term investments in Jamaica. They are not here to make a quick buck and run away. It's time that Jamaicans understand this, that the large hotels are foreigners making long-term investments in Jamaica. My second point for comparison is, which contractors are building the apartments versus which contractors are building these hotels? When one looks at which contractors are building these luxury apartments, to see whether the apartments or the luxury hotels give Jamaica the better deal, there is not much to choose. There are not many differences between the luxury apartments and the mega-large hotels, according to my knowledge on the subject. This is because they are both using overseas contractors, and then they will use some local tradesmen to fill the gaps, etc. Anyone who has some knowledge on the subject, please drop a few lines below to enlighten us. The mega-large hotels' contractors are sometimes criticized for sourcing most of their materials for the construction of the hotels from overseas. However, it would appear that the luxury apartments contractors are doing the very same thing as well. Hence, this will be a draw between the two. Again, anyone with some knowledge on this issue can drop us a few lines to let us know. My third point for comparison is, where does the money come from to build these luxury apartments versus where does the money come from to build these mega-large hotels? Our third and a very important comparison is, where does the money come from to build these luxury apartments? I said very important comparison because this is the one that could bankrupt Jamaica. For example, if the money is borrowed from Jamaican banks to build these $1 million apartments, then if something goes wrong, this could bring Jamaica back to the 1990s bankruptcies. More on this later. When it comes to the mega-large hotels, we know that this is money coming from outside of Jamaica, sometimes $1 billion worth of investments starting in 1 year. These hotel companies value tens of billions of US dollars. Hence, the hotel companies don't need to borrow any money from Jamaican banks, and in any case, Jamaican banks would not have that type of money for the number of hotels that need to be built. This is another advantage of mega-large hotels for Jamaica, as opposed to the riskier luxury apartments. My fourth point for comparison is, who are buying those expensive apartments versus who are visiting those mega-large hotels. This fourth comparison will demonstrate the ignorance of the Jamaican government and their prosperity message, and some Jamaican people who are rejoicing about these expensive apartments, because the luxury apartments are just bringing foreigners to Jamaica and driving up overall house prices. Even though a lot of Jamaican diasporas are buying up some of these expensive apartments, That should not be the government's priority. What these luxury apartments are doing is driving up the overall price of houses in Jamaica, while those on minimum wage can't get their feet on the property ladder. Hence, some Jamaicans are rejoicing about the very reasons why they can't afford a house in Jamaica. They are rejoicing about their own demise, as over 90% of Jamaican residents can't afford these luxury apartments. On the other hand, the mega-large hotels are bringing foreigners to Jamaica for 10 days on average, to spend their money while they enjoy Jamaica, then leave and go back to their own country. What the government should be doing is building affordable apartments about 5 miles from these hotels, then sell the apartments to the hotel workers. By allowing the hotel workers to purchase their own house, this would enable the hotel workers to build up wealth for their children and grandchildren. This is what keeps people in work, when they can see what they are working for. Just that feeling and knowledge that your house is going up in value every year makes all the difference to the minimum wage earners. My fifth and last point for comparison is, what benefits do Jamaicans get from these luxury apartments versus what benefits do Jamaicans get from these mega-large hotels? While some Jamaican tradesmen will get work on the construction site when these luxury apartments are being built, it's the same for the mega-large hotels where the tradesmen are concerned. However, with the mega hotels, Jamaica's unskilled workers get permanent full-time jobs in these hotels. There are hundreds of thousands of unskilled adults in Jamaica, especially in rural parishes across Jamaica. These unskilled workers need these hotel jobs to school and feed their children. The government also needs to start a national house building program that can build up to 30,000 houses every year for its minimum wage and low-income population. All Jamaicans must get a stake in Jamaica now before we lose the whole country to foreigners. The government also gets its main source of foreign exchange from the tourism industry. Once the mega hotels are built, they provide a permanent source of government revenue. Hence, on all the 5 points discussed in this post, the mega-large hotels prove to be the better deal for Jamaica, while the expensive luxury apartments prove to be risky at best and deprive Jamaicans of owning their own home at worst, due to house price inflation and other factors. Thank you for watching another episode of my new series titled UK £50 billion Repatriation Funds to be invested in Jamaica, £10 billion in loans for infrastructure programs, and £40 billion in foreign direct investments to build 200 mega hotels of 1,000 rooms each in Jamaica. Some key features of the UK £50 billion repatriation funding program are 200 hotels to be built across Jamaica over the next 10 years, from 2025 to 2034, especially near areas with high unemployment rates, earning an extra $10 billion each year for Jamaica, providing 300,000 permanent full-time jobs for low-skilled citizens in rural parishes across Jamaica, 300,000 affordable housing units to be built over the next 10 years, 30,000 to be built each year. Franchises for the first 100 large, all-inclusive hotels will be given to foreign direct investment over the next 1 to 5 years, from 2025 to 2029. Each hotel costing approximately £200 million to build, totaling £40 billion, all paid for by the foreign direct investments repatriation money coming back to Jamaica. A national living wage to be established in Jamaica, raising the current minimum wage by 15% each year, reaching 30,000 Jamaican dollars per week by 2030, payable to all hotel workers. Jamaica's agriculture needs to start growing by 20% every year for the next 10 years and beyond. This is to create stability in the country as the tourism industry starts growing by 20% every year for the next 10 years. Please click on the subscribe button. Share this video in your WhatsApp groups and send it to all your friends, as we try to demonstrate how the tourism industry can transform lives in Jamaica. Remember to let us know what you think about this video by leaving your comments below. Please keep your comments respectful. God bless you. God bless the Jamaican Parliament, and God bless Jamaica. Until my next video, peace. This is part 13 of my current series. Look out for part 14.